So what I want to do is I want to begin by adding a perpendicular line to point C that is perpendicular to this segment. In order to do that, I select my perpendicular line, that is the tool here. Notice that I need to have a point and a line to be perpendicular to. So here's my point, here's my line. Once I have this, I'm going to add a point anywhere on this line, and I'll purposely place it here. The property of this point should be, when I go back to the arrow tool, that it only gets to move up and down along that line, just like this only gets to move side to side on this line. Once I have that point, I'm going to connect it with a segment starting from here to here and then right back down here. This is going to create a line segment called I and a line segment called J. Now I want to pay special attention to those two because my bottom section, the base, is going to be related to those two. In order to do that, I'm going to now switch over to segment with given length, and I'll click on A. Now the property that I want is I want this segment that I'm about to draw to be related to I by being exactly half as long as I. To do that, I'll just type 0.5 I. What the computer understands is that this is now half of I. So I'll press OK. And I get this segment piece kind of extended here. And I know that if I click on my arrow tool, I should be able to make this swing now. Now what happens with this particular length called K is that it's going to be exactly half the length of this one called I. So if this gets longer, this is still half as much as this. This gets shorter, still half as much as this. Okay, so that's it. That's all it does. Then what I'm going to do is create another segment on the opposite side in the same property. So this is segment with given length. I click here on this point, and now I want this to be half the length of J on this side. So same thing, 0.5, but now I call it J. Press OK. Go to my arrow tool, and I swing this down. And this now creates what I'm going to refer to as the base. In order to finish it, all I got to do is create a segment that goes from here to here. Now, I've created the illusion of the shape that I want. All I have to do now is kind of test it. So I'll move this, I'll put this at 0, I'll make it visually look like if the lines are lined up, and I'll test it by making this turn. It doesn't seem like it's lined up properly. I'll just do a quick adjustment. And what I have to understand is that this length here, from here to here, and from here to here, are 2 equal parts. So the last step is I want to create what I'm going to refer to as a midpoint. And the midpoint is basically halfway between these 2 points and halfway between these 2 points. So let me set this up maybe like this. And in order to find a midpoint, I have to go to the point section, and there it is. It says midpoint or center. So now read what it says in the bottom. You want to select 2 points, a segment, a circle, or a conic. So you have choices. So what I'll do is I'll select this segment. I'll select, and I can click anywhere here. It will automatically go to the middle. I'll select this segment. And now I have my 2 points. In order to finish, I just go ahead and create my segment that cuts across these 2. Now, when I move this around, I'll be able to see that this perfectly lines up. And it's not just randomly. So if I move this down to kind of stretch this out and I adapt it, this is still going to appear like it lines up perfectly. And when I adjust it on this side, all that means here is just adjust the angle so that it appears to be traveling correctly together. And that's it. Okay. So what's going to happen now is that I can move this shape around to create any kind of, I guess, triangle piece that I want. But what I really want to do is I want to concentrate on the trapezoid, meaning this piece. I want to, in effect, cut away the triangle tip. Okay. In order to do that, what I'll do is I will go to my Polygon Tool, which is here. I'll click here, and I want to make sure that this is open. I don't want to do this, I do not want to do this when this is closed. And the reason I don't want to do this when this is closed is because this is really 2 points. And the computer sometimes has a hard time deciding which of the 2 points you're selecting. So what I do is I make sure that this is a little bit open. It doesn't have to be fully on. And that way I can tell the difference between these 2 points. Okay? So I'll go to my Polygon Tool. And the only rule with the Polygon Tool is you start and end in the same spot. So if I start here, I go in order, round and round, and it looks like I'm done, but I have to go back to where I started, which was here. And now I have my tool, my polygon. Once that is done, I can modify my picture, and you can see what it looks like. I can line this up perfectly, give the illusion that I want. And at this point in time, I'm just going to mess with my lines a little bit. I'll select this, I'll open this up, go to this here, and I'll make that a little bit cut up. I'll select this, and I'll do the same thing. Select this, and I'll do the same thing. And the reason I want to do that is because I want a certain illusion while giving a suggestion as to where this is coming from. Okay, so I can see that this is my triangle, but I'm paying special focus or attention to this reddish piece, and this bottom base, which is now my trapezoid, which once I rotate it becomes my parallelogram. And that's it.